I want you to think about someone specific, someone you've gone out of your way for, rearranged your schedule for, stayed up late for, answered immediately every single time they reached out. Someone you showed up for, consistently, without hesitation, without condition. Got that person in your head? Now tell me, how do they treat you when you need something? Because I'm willing to bet there's a gap there, a gap between what you give and what comes back. And somewhere deep down, you've noticed it. You've felt the quiet sting of sending a message and waiting hours for a response from someone you would have answered in seconds. You've rearranged your entire day for someone who couldn't rearrange 20 minutes for you. And here's what you told yourself. If I just stay consistent, if I just keep showing up, eventually they'll see it. That right there, that quiet, patient, loyal waiting, that is the pattern that is slowly teaching everyone around you that you cost nothing. This video is about the counterintuitive truth that nobody in your life will tell you because it makes them uncomfortable. The moment you stop being endlessly available is the exact moment the people worth keeping start treating you like you matter. I know that sounds like you have to become cold or calculating to earn basic respect. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand why your availability hasn't been a gift. It's been a price tag, and you've been marking yourself down for years. Let me paint you a picture you already know. Your phone buzzes. It's them. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you stop. You respond, quickly, warmly, completely, because that's who you are. That's how you love people. That's how you show them they matter. And for a while, it feels like connection. It feels like you're building something. But then something shifts. You can't name it at first. It's just a feeling, faint, nagging, like a note played slightly off key. You notice they take longer to respond. You notice your plans get canceled more easily than theirs. You notice that when you need something, really need it, there's suddenly always a reason it's complicated. You've felt this before, haven't you? And here's what really hurts. It's not any single moment. It's the accumulation. It's the 10th time you dropped everything. It's the 15th time you said no worries when you were full of worries. It's the slow realization that your consistency, the thing you were most proud of, has been quietly interpreted as something else entirely. It's been interpreted as need, as desperation, as proof that you'll always be there no matter how you're treated. The worst part is this. You didn't do anything wrong. You showed up exactly the way you were told love and friendship and loyalty are supposed to look. You gave generously. You communicated openly. You stayed when other people would have left. And it still didn't work. And right now, today, you're probably still repeating this same pattern with someone, giving more than you're receiving, justifying it, minimizing it, waiting. Stay with me, because this gets darker before it gets better. But what I'm about to explain is the thing that changes everything. Not just how you relate to other people, but how you relate to yourself. Here's what's actually happening. Not in a vague, abstract way, in a very specific, biological, psychological way that has nothing to do with whether you are lovable or worthy or enough. Human beings, all of us, are wired by evolution to assign value based on scarcity. This is not a character flaw. This is not cruelty. This is a system that kept our ancestors alive for hundreds of thousands of years. Think about it this way. Imagine a little kid at a birthday party. There's one piece of chocolate cake and an entire table of plain white bread. Which one does every child want? The chocolate cake. Not necessarily because it tastes infinitely better, but because there's only one. The scarcity signals value before a single bite is taken. Your brain does this with people. When someone is consistently, immediately, unconditionally available, when they answer every call, accommodate every request, adjust their needs around yours, your brain doesn't register that as love. It registers that as baseline, as given, as something that simply exists, like air, like gravity. things you never think about because they've never once been absent. And here's the clinical term for what happens next: habituation. Habituation is what occurs when your nervous system stops registering a stimulus because it's been present so long it no longer triggers a response. It's why you stop hearing the hum of your refrigerator. It's why you stop smelling your own home. The stimulus is still there. Your brain has simply classified it as background. When you are endlessly available, you become background. Not because the person is evil, not because they're consciously taking you for granted, but because their nervous system has habituated to your presence in the same way it habituates to the sound of traffic outside their window. You are there. You will always be there. The brain stops paying attention to what is always there. Now here's where it gets really dark. Stay with me because this next part explains everything. There's a second mechanism at work here, and it operates even deeper. It's called intermittent reinforcement, and it is the most powerful behavioral conditioning force in human psychology. Here's how it works. When a reward, attention, affection, validation, is delivered inconsistently on an unpredictable schedule, the brain doesn't reduce its response, it amplifies it. It becomes obsessed. It can't stop pursuing the reward because the uncertainty itself becomes neurologically intoxicating. This is why slot machines are more addictive than vending machines. A vending machine gives you something every time you put money in. Reliable, predictable, boring. You use it when you need it and think nothing of it. A slot machine gives you something sometimes, unpredictably, randomly, and your brain goes absolutely haywire trying to solve the pattern. First, you give everything, freely, consistently, without hesitation. Then, the person on the receiving end habituates. Your presence becomes background noise. Your effort becomes expectation. Then, and this is the cruel irony, when you do pull back, even slightly, even accidentally, their brain suddenly registers your absence. The stimulus changes, the nervous system wakes up, and the person who barely noticed you when you were fully present suddenly wants to know where you went. This is not personal. Let me say that again because I need you to hear it. This is not a verdict on your worth. This is not proof that you're too much or too little or fundamentally flawed. This is biology. This is the same mechanism that operates inside every single human brain on the planet. You have not been rejected. You have been habituated. And there is a profound difference between those two things. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. And once you understand it, truly understand it, you have power over it. But here's what nobody tells you. The solution is not to become unavailable as a manipulation tactic. It's not to play games. It's not to artificially create distance to trigger someone's scarcity response so they'll chase you. That version of this advice is everywhere, and it's hollow, and it will hollow you out. The real solution is something far more powerful and far harder. It's this. You become unavailable as a natural consequence of finally valuing your own time. There's a fundamental difference between those two things, and I need you to really hear this next part. When you pull back strategically as a tactic, people can feel it. The withdrawal is performative. It has an agenda behind it. And people, even people who can't name it consciously, can sense the difference between someone who is genuinely building a full life and someone who is pretending to build one to make them jealous. But when you pull back authentically, because you've decided that your time is genuinely worth something, because you've started investing in yourself with the same devotion you've been investing in others, something completely different happens. Your energy changes. Your posture changes. The way you speak about yourself changes. You stop explaining yourself. You stop over-justifying your choices. You stop being immediately available not as a power play, but because you genuinely have somewhere else to be, something else worth building, someone else worth being, yourself. And that is when respect arrives. Not because you tricked someone's nervous system, but because you stopped communicating through your every action that you had no inherent value unless they confirmed it. You are not too available. You are not too much. You have been waiting for external validation to give you permission to believe you're worth waiting for. I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, but I don't want to become cold. I don't want to become the kind of person who doesn't care. And I understand that fear deeply, because that generosity, that warmth, that instinct to show up is beautiful. It is genuinely one of the most valuable things about you. The problem was never your capacity for love. The problem was where you were directing it. You were pouring it outward towards people who had not yet demonstrated they could hold it carefully, while simultaneously starving yourself of it. Your account was always running on empty, and you were wondering why nothing felt reciprocal. You are not a